If I were asked to name my favorite female mainstream rapper at the moment, and the key word is mainstream, it would have to be this Clayton County Georgia representative. What is good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Mob. If you are rocking with this content, go ahead and smash that like button for your boy. Also subscribe if you haven't. But today, I'm gonna hit y'all with my thoughts on this new project from Latto entitled Sugar Honey Iced Tea. So out of all the contemporary well-known female rappers, I would have to say I listen to Latto the most. Now I like Rhapsody a lot as well, but she isn't necessarily super commercial for a younger crowd. And I also like Shay Nor's music, but I would consider her to be more underground. Now, Latto, she's been doing her thing rapping for quite a while, but I first tapped into this Atlanta artist music by the way of her 777 EP from a couple years back. So this new album, Sugar Honey Iced Tea, is her first drop since 2022. It's a long one at 17 tracks plus 5 bonus songs or volume 2, but the overall runtime is 1 hour and 5 minutes. So with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with that track by track breakdown. The opener, Georgia Peach, has some atmospheric simple bass production. The melodic hook from Latto almost feels a bit Drake inspired, but she is repping her state of Georgia to the fullest, reminding us that there's nothing quite like a Georgia girl. So the atmospheric quality and Latto's smooth delivery makes for a pleasant tone setter. Track 2, Big Mama, is a 2-part single, the first containing a wavy smooth instrumental, while the second is piano heavy trap. So I did enjoy the tempo shift going from chill to aggressive. It blends elements of both styles pretty well, and Latto's demonstrating that she can handle melodic tracks just as well as those in-your-face trap anthems. A couple Latto lines that stood out were on some Andre 3K shit, man, where the F are my panties. So we know that Latto mentions her panties a lot in her songs, and there was also that Outkast song with that title, so that's the connection. And there was, bitch, I don't play for the Nets, but I'm gonna shoot shit up about Brooklyn. Brooklyn here not only being the NBA team, but also the name of her sister, who she's always hanging with. Next is Blix, a track where Latto gets on her gangsta tip pretty heavy over a bass heavy banger of a beat that stylistically resembles let's say a Jeezy joint from the 2000s. With this record, Latto is doing a whole lot of tough talk. Some of it is over the top, but she's also expressing how she's turned on the guys with guns, guys with blickies. One line that did jump out was, miss me with that bull before I have him put some wings on you. That was a pretty clever threat. Following this is Settle Down. Now this bouncy club-like beat also harkens back to some of that 2000s production. And on here, Latto is telling others to settle down, others being other female rappers who she cleverly finds new ways to talk bad about. And while I can't say this was a highlight, I could appreciate the overall vibe and the confidence that she brought to this track. Then there is Shrimp and Grits with Young Nudie, and this has a lavish, Dirty South style instrumental with a chopped and screwed hook. Instrumentally, it's probably one of my favorites. There's just that true, authentic Atlanta sound present, and Young Nudie does bring that street authenticity to the record. So as a whole, it's one of the highlights. Immediately after is There She Go, and it's an up-tempo anthem with a catchy hook and overall good energy. She's essentially calling out the women with fake bodies and fake jewelry. Some lines were, letting that dude dog you out, you ain't got no backbone. Get it? Now, vocally and lyrically, it's much better than a Sexy Red track, but it was also giving that Sexy Red energy at the same time. Then we have a flawless transition into the next track, Brokey, which is backed by some playful chimes and trap bells. With this record, she is doing more boasting, exposing some of the brokies out there and flexing and continuing to talk bad about those who are in a less fortunate financial position. But as a whole, I did like the bright, colorful vibes to this track. This is followed up by the Mimi interlude where she receives a voicemail from a family member over a soul sample, and that leads us right into the sparkling Yes, I would say it's a sparkling banger. H&M, which flips a Destiny's Child sample, but it's another enjoyable vibe altogether. And H&M here is standing for being hurt and miserable. Not Lotto, but the competition is hurt and miserable. Following this is Copper Wave with Huncho, and it's a syrupy trap groove where Latto shows her knack for crafting these very tuneful hooks. Truth be told, I did not care for the Huncho feature at all. Actually, I really didn't like it. But had he not have been on this track, it probably would have been one of my favorites because Latto absolutely kills the hook. Subsequent song is Ear Candy with Coco Jones, and this has more of a R&B traditional rap flavor, set to a classy, plush, almost boom bap beat with R&B vocals from Coco Jones. Now, Latto was doing some relationship talk, approaching things from a woman's perspective. I wouldn't consider it to be a favorite, but it's not bad. And there is Liquor, which has a bouncy and alluring beat that really channeled some more 2000s R&B energy. And she was utilizing a different flow here, which has some appeal. But as a whole, this is a turn-up anthem where she was getting a little sexual. I don't really have much to report on here. Vibe-wise, it's okay, but I probably won't revisit it. Then there is Squeeze with Megan Thee Stallion, and we are getting a glossy, club-like instrumental with strong pop vibes, but the rapping from the two was fairly dope. Yeah, I did go into this song assuming that it would be one of the worst, but it was good for what it was, and I couldn't help but notice a slight Lil' Kim influence. Next is Good to You with Sierra. It is set to a breezy guitar back beat. It's got some pop appeal, but Latto is straight up rapping, doing more romantic talk mixed in with some seduction. And I think this is going to be a standout for the ladies. Track 15 is Look at What You Did with Mariah the Scientist. Now, this is the second or third track in a row in which I was really impressed with Mariah the Scientist singing. I did enjoy her performance on the 21 Savage album earlier in the year, and she did not disappoint here either. Now, her soulful hooks amidst the glorious strings, it was a nice touch. Sure, it is a lovey-dovey track where Latto is rapping about her man, but as far as things like harmonizing and production was concerned, it's a dope song. Second and last track is Prized Possessions featuring Tizo Touchdown, and this record is channeling Drake once more. It honestly sounds like it could have been an extra from Drake's For All the Dogs, but in fairness, Latto is giving us some more thoughtful relationship rhymes. And this project comes to a close with Shout Out to Me, and it's my favorite from the track list by far. It's Latto in her introspective bag, giving us some straight up rapping over some soul chops, and it's really at this point where she flexes her pen game the most. Some notable bars were, "You hoes is a puzzling case. It clearly doesn't matter if you younger or double my age. You bitches is barking too much. I wish I could muzzle your face. Karma will deal with you though. I promise your judgment awaits." So I'm not gonna hold you. I kind of wish we had gotten a couple more songs in this particular vein on the album. But then we get into volume 2, which has like 5 bonus songs. The first one is Chicken Grease, and it's a straight up Southern banger that samples from T.I.'s 24s. It doesn't get more authentically ATL sounding than that instrumental, and Latto goes in with some intensity, making it one of the high points on the project. Next is Put It On The Floor, which has a remix also featuring Cardi B, but I would prefer the original. But this was actually an early single, which had an almost Atlanta meets Detroit styled beat. But Latto is going in aggressively, calling out some female rappers. That is followed up by 2 Sunday Service songs, the first being the Latto original, the second being the remix with Megan and Flo Millie. I'd have to say I preferred the remix. It was just really giving that wavy Dirty South flavor. So overall, I'm gonna give this project a rating of 3.5 mics. It was a long listen at 21 songs, but I still found it to be a very solid commercial album at the end of the day. It was clearly more ambitious than the 777 release, but as much as I enjoyed elements of this new project, 777 was probably more up my alley. It was just a little bit more raw. This new album was definitely geared more for popular mainstream audiences, but she still kept it somewhat traditional in that you did have some authentic Southern style bangers and tracks that were kind of fun and colorful, especially if you were in the mood to tap into a certain vibe or a certain aesthetic. And throughout, Latto demonstrates that she can rap well, probably better than a lot of her mainstream female counterparts, and she performs the hooks equally as well. Although I will say, I did find her subject matter to be a tad bit repetitive. I wish she could have touched upon some more issues than relationships and some of the shallow boasting. That being said, the production did, I think, slap the whole way through, and shout out to Go Grizz who did a bulk of the album. So while I'm unlikely to return to some of these songs, it's still a solid mainstream rap album. My favorite tracks include Big Mama, Stripper and Grits, There She Go, Broke, H&M, Look What You Did, Shout Out to Me, Chicken Grease, and the Sunday Service remix. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Mob. I am signing out, but as always, it's peace and blessings. Latto, Sugar Honey Iced Tea.